Hey, kia ora mai whātau te whānau. This is Rewa here. Hey, welcome to Word on Monday for today. I just wanted to talk about today the story around Jesus' entry into the city of Jerusalem and also the significance of this period of time in the year for us. If you read through the Gospels, you will find that this Easter period, this holiday that we have in our calendar every year, is framed around Jesus entering into Jerusalem, which is Palm Sunday, which is the Sunday we've just had yesterday in our tradition, and then proceeds to go through the Passover festival, which then actually leads to his death and resurrection on Sunday. The Passover tradition is one of the festivals that the Jewish people would go to every year or participate in if they don't go up to the city of Jerusalem. And it harkens back to the time the Israelites were held in captivity. If you recall, a young boy, Joseph, was sold into slavery many years ago in their history. And eventually, over time and through circumstances regards to famine in the region, Joseph's family came to Egypt and needed help in regards to food, sustainability and security for them. It was through Joseph's hand that he saved his brothers and father. And eventually, the people of Israel resided for 400 years. Egypt had forgotten the promises that were made to Joseph, and eventually the nation grew into the Israelite people. God hadn't forgot his covenant that he made to Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, and he turned his eye to the people that were crying under slavery and redeemed them through Moses. But before they could go pass through the desert and before they entered into the promised land, there was an encounter. There was an empowering encounter between the gods of Egypt and the God of Israel. And the last plague that was announced by Pharaoh, that the firstborn would die, was the judgment death that came upon the Egyptian people. And God had told them, the Israelites, that you are to place blood upon the threshold and death would pass by. Now it's in this context, in this environment, that Jesus comes into the city of Jerusalem, looking down from the Mount of Olives as he passed Bethany and Bethany, and would walk through on the donkey, well actually would ride a donkey into the city. He would have known what was about to happen later in that week. He would have known that the light that shines in the Temple Mount on the temple, the second temple, would be strong and bright. The oil that was needed by that temple, which came from the Mount of Olives, would need to be pressed twice in order for oil to be produced. And here he is, going to be pressed, going to be challenged, going to be tortured, and eventually lead to death, and he'll go to hell. And then on the third day, he would rise up. Everything that we find in the Hebrew scriptures and the Torah and the Septuagint are all fulfilled in the person of Christ Jesus. Jesus is the Messiah. And it's in this time, in this season, that we remember his acts of service and his call to service, that Jesus Christ is the Son of God who came to earth in the form of humans, a man, and then died on the cross and was raised again. That's what we celebrate, that's what we commemorate at this time. Here in Kaikoura, what we're going to do on Easter Friday is we're going to gather together and have a meal, a potluck meal. We're also going to demonstrate what the Passover meal looked like, so we're going to have some emblems and food that represents that, and we're going to share a meal together. and look at the prophetic statements that are in that meal, and look at the lamb that we're going to eat, knowing that the lamb, ultimately the sacrifice, is King Jesus himself. So whānau, have a great week. I would encourage you to read through any of the Gospels, and particularly Luke or Matthew, and look at the sequence that happens, and just to remind yourself as you reflect on this week as we come into to Friday and then Easter Sunday. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May his face continue to shine upon you as you seek him. God bless whānau, and have a great week. Hei kona.